Hi, this is Raymond Rose. Welcome to Raymond Rose Media. I appreciate your time. Today we're going to talk about minimalism. I am a minimalist. I learned years ago the importance of keeping my life clutter free. And back in the day when I was in the corporate world, part of my job responsibility was to build ways that I could get you, the consumer, to purchase things on impulse. And I learned many years ago how important it is not to fall into that trap, not to be brainwashed, not to be hypnotized in buying things that are going to produce profits for the big corporations. And based on my readings, I learned how important it was for my physical health and mental health to keep my life very, very simple. So I'm going to share with you now the items that I no longer buy. And really, I haven't bought these for, like I said, dozens of years. You might find a little of these things to be, very unusual, or some of them you might totally disagree with. But at the same time, it's worked for me, and maybe you'll come up with a couple of different ideas. So, first of all, I stopped buying gifts. I have not bought any gifts for my children or my grandchildren in 20 or 30 years. I just don't do it. If they've got a birthday coming or a holiday coming, or maybe it's a graduation, I'm not going out. I'm not trying to figure out the ideal gift for them. What I will do is I will give them money that will go into a brokerage account so that when they hit a certain age, 16 or 18 or 21 years old, there's money that's being invested for them every single year, because the doll that I buy my granddaughter when she's 5 years old, or the bike that I might buy my grandson when he's 9 years old, that once he's 10 years old and he's outgrown that bike, or my granddaughter no longer plays with the ball, it's not going to be that important. But imagine investing, $50 for every holiday, or $50 for every birthday, or whatever. And imagine when they get to be, 16, 18, 20 years, 21 years old, there's $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 waiting for them. That's what I do. I don't buy gifts, not for anybody, period, end of discussion. The days of me wasting my time, and I do call it wasting, trying, like I said, to find that ideal gift, I just won't do it. Number two, I don't have any plants in my home. I realized that, I don't always have a green thumb. And if I'm going to be somebody that might want to travel periodically, I don't want to have to be thinking about who's going to water my plants and letting my neighbor come in, or even just going out and spending the time to buy the plants and bring them home and repot them and fertilize them and water them and take care of them. And then at the end of the season, there's a lot of moving parts there. I get it. I understand the beauty of plants, but I just don't want to put myself in a position where I'm taking care of plants all the time. So I've eliminated all plants inside my home, all plants outside my home. I can find lots of beauty just in looking at the trees and listening to the birds and enjoying nature, the white clouds in the sky. So plants, no longer part of my life. Number three, I started off my whole conversation with this. I don't buy on impulse. If I want something, it's going on my to-do list. It's going on my to-buy list. When it's on sale, or when it's the right time, I'm going to buy it. I'm not buying anything on impulse. And that's going back to the whole aspect about buying gifts for people. How many times you're buying a gift for somebody, it's not the right size, it's not really what they want, it sits in their closet, they regift it. All these moving parts, it just doesn't make sense to me. But buying on impulse, that's something that is not on my list. Next, indoor decorations. I don't want any knickknacks in my home. I don't need to fill every corner of my house. I have a nicely decorated home. It's, in my opinion, or people have told me, it's one of those properties that you might see in Architectural Digest, where everything looks really clean, nice clean lines, nothing on my kitchen counter, but not a lot of furniture. For me, it's easy to keep my home clean. I'm not dusting all the time. I'm saving money. I'm putting that money that I would be spending on my knickknacks and things into my retirement program. It's making my life so much simpler. Also, if you were to come into my home right now, I tell people all the time, my garage has a bicycle and my grandson's wagon. My basement is empty. I have 12 closets in my home. 9 of those closets are empty. I tell people, how many sets of sheets do you need? How many towels do you need? I don't understand why people have got all these indoor decorations or items that they use for their home. So there's that. Here's one. I stopped buying paper towels, I don't know, 20 years ago. I have not bought a paper towel since. And here's what I was taught. I went to one of the discount department stores and I bought white face cloths. And they typically sell for like 2 dozen for like $7.99 or $8.99. And I'll buy 24 of those face cloths, maybe every year and a half. And I have them in my kitchen. and I have them in a drawer in my kitchen right next to the sink. And when somebody would typically be using a paper towel to either wipe up a counter or clean a glass or whatever, I just use the white face cloth. And then every time I'm doing laundry, every day one, two, or three face cloths are getting dirty. I throw them in the laundry bin. And when I do laundry every several days, all those face cloths are cleaned up and I just reuse them over and over again. I'm saving, goodness knows how much money I'm saving in paper towels. And I know there's families that go through 2, 3, 4 rolls of paper towels a week. I stopped buying paper towels. Next, I have not owned a computer since 2004. When the iPhones first came out and I started understanding how they worked, and I will tell you, I use my iPhone very, very good, almost better than anybody I know. I decided I don't want a computer no more. I don't need it. I can do everything I can imagine right on my phone. By the way, I don't own a printer. And if there's the few times that I do need to print something, I'll just print it and I'll go to the local library and have it just print right out of the library's printer. So I don't own a computer. I can use one at the library anytime I want. I don't own a printer. I'm not buying ink. I'm not buying software. And I get by just fine with my phone. And by the way, I just have a basic iPhone SE 2022. It's a $399 phone. Before that, I had the SE 2020. So I'm not spending a lot of money on technology, all those things. So not owning a computer, wonderful. Next, I don't have any yard tools. I made the decision many years ago that I did not want to cut the grass or rake the leaves or shovel the driveway or fertilize or any of those things. I personally moved into a condo, but before I did move into a condominium, I did own a home. And even back then, I always had a landscaper. And people might say, well, it costs money to have a landscaper. Or, hey, when I'm cutting the grass, I'm getting in some walking or some exercise. Yep, I understand all that, but I don't even want to own a lawnmower. I don't even want to own a snow shovel. I don't even want to own a snowblower. I don't want to get involved in any of those things. If I want to do something physical exercise, I'll go for a nice walk or run, or maybe I'll go down to the beach and run along the ocean. But I don't want to be doing any of those things. I don't want to own yard tools. I don't want to get involved in any of those different things. Next, I've never, ever bought bottled water. And I've got a podcast coming out on the importance of not only do I not buy bottled water, because between me and you, I think it's a scam. I think you've been hypnotized and brainwashed into buying bottled water. And these people that say that they buy it because of convenience, well, listen to my podcast coming up regarding that, because I totally disagree with that. When people tell me that, oh, it's convenient for me, I need some water, so I stop my car or I get off the highway, I go to the convenience store, I go in, I get out, I spend the money. It's like, no, that's not convenient. If you want convenience, just bring some water from home and bring it in a ceramic or one of those really good containers and bring the water with you. Conveniently buying water at a convenience store, that's not convenience. But anyways, I've never bought bottled water before. Next, the amount of clothes that I buy are very, very few. I've learned as I've got older that my clothes are, and I can tell you, I buy my clothes at Costco. If Costco doesn't sell it, I'm not wearing it. I buy my shoes, I buy my sneakers, I buy my shirts, my coats, everything at Costco. They've got excellent quality. They have a wonderful money back guarantee. I'm not driving all over the place looking for bargains on clothes. I'm very comfortable with the pricing and the quality on all those items. And I don't own a lot of clothes. So that's really simple. And then lastly, regarding paper, I don't buy greeting cards. I don't buy newspapers. I don't buy books. I don't buy any of those things that are paper related. Again, I can get them all on my phone. And in my head, I think I'm doing my best to save the environment, and by not using that paper. And actually talking about the environment, there's one more thing I stopped buying. I can't remember the last time I bought a live Christmas tree. I just don't buy them no more. I've got a nice artificial tree that I use for the holidays, and makes life really, really easy. And again, think of all this list that I just gave with you. Every one of those items is a depreciating asset. I don't want to put my money in things that go down in value. I want to invest my money in things that go up in value. So there's my list of the items that I no longer buy, that I haven't bought. Like I said, in some of the items I've never bought before. But hey, that's it for today's version. A quick self-promotion. I make a podcast like this every single day on a variety of 4 subjects. I either talk about health, money, time, or habits. I'm hoping you enjoyed this. If so, please consider subscribing to my channel. Share this podcast with your friends. Scroll through my previous podcast. I think you'll find some really fun topics and some valuable information. And if you have any comments that you'd like to make on this, please critique me. Please put them in the comment section below. With that said, thanks for listening. This is Raymond Rose. I'll talk to you tomorrow.